What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film Podcast, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and that's it, because there's no TV on this show. Today, for episode 94 of the podcast, we are talking about the 2004 crossover between the two biggest sci-fi franchises, at least of the time, Alien versus Predator. As always, my wonderful co-hosts, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
You know how many episodes we've gone through where I don't introduce you as the co-host? I wonder if anyone actually is like, are they just guests all the time? They're just permanent guests.
Always.
Maybe.
I don't think I've noticed that
I don't
either.
think-
What do you drink?
Oh, what am I
That's
drinking?
what you're drinking today.
Well, Dan, why are you rushing me?
Gosh.
I'm so unprepared. Why do you got to make it even worse for me?
You need some bagel seasoning? You might feel better.
please. Just,
Oh my god, that'd be awful.
I just made a motion you should not make on the internet, but you know what? It's too late. I'm not cutting it out. Today we are drinking. It's called Creatures of Magic. It's got a really cool can for everybody who's watching on YouTube. It's got like some mythical creatures. Got Cthulhu there in the.
I want that can.
I'll try to send one to you. I don't know how that's gonna work. It is from the Burlington Beer Company in Williston, Vermont.
One of the great coats.
So
Nobody's gonna get that. I'm sorry.
that's the beer. This is my first beer I've drank today because I have been on overnights all week and I am just exhausted to the point where I didn't want to drink anything today. It's a Sunday and usually that's the day that I drink the most. I'm not trying to sound like I'm an alcoholic, but that's literally the day I drink the most beer. And so I'm usually about 5, 6, 7 in by the time we record. I'm still coherent.
Oh, so that's why he's so talkative.
No, that's just me. That's just how it is.
Just
That's just life.
He's trying to warm himself up for the impending week ahead.
But yeah, so
What was your beer?
that's the
that's me
first
on
beer.
Friday.
Angela, what are you
Hang on,
drinking
I'm
today?
taking off the
Oh,
I'm
I'll buy time while she's doing it.
sticker so nobody sees how much I paid.
I am drinking Old Smoky Moonshine cocktails,
Ooh,
and it is blackberry
lemonade. That sounds
Yeah,
delicious.
made with apparently real moonshine, made from
Ooh.
Old Smoky Moonshine. We
Very
picked it up
nice.
while we were.
Moonshiners.
We ironically picked this up while we were on our sabbatical, or when we took her out for
Day sabbatical.
our sabbatical. Yeah, I took her out for our anniversary, and we were in. It doesn't matter. We were in Gatlinburg, and we went by. We just picked up some alcohol, and I was like, "Oh, this stuff looks good." So, I'm not a moonshine guy. I'm not really a hard alcohol guy. So,
Angela, it's a really cool can. Not the greatest beer. Not the beer.
Okay.
Not a beer I will ever buy again. But the can is
Kind of-
cool.
what flavor
Yeah,
is it?
It is a New England style IPA. That's about it. That's all I can tell you.
Wouldn't drink it anyways. Well, I'm drinking strawberry lemonade.
Ooh,
Vodka.
Svedka. She's going straight from the bottle.
She is.
I didn't want
All
to
the
mess
audio
up a-
listeners are just like, damn.
No, I
You
didn't
have
want to have to mess up a cup.
No, I told her I was like I could smell better after I drank it. Like, oh wow, my sinuses.
Pretty potent.
Wow, I haven't been able to breathe this well since I was a kid.
Oh,
That's right.
Well, now that we've gone through what we're drinking and we're in a mood here, let's get into the movie we're talking about this week. We're back into a weird chapter of the Alien franchise. I don't know. A lot of people don't consider this as part of the Alien franchise, but it has aliens in it, so you kind of have to group it in somewhere. But yeah, this Alien vs. Predator came out in 2004, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who was talked about a lot in 2021 when we went through the entirety of the Resident Evil franchise. He directed the first one, and then I believe it was the last two in that franchise. And boy, I've always had a sour taste in my mouth when it comes to Paul W.S. Anderson, and at least the films I've seen from him since doing the show. I've seen this movie many times, and I'm very excited to see what you guys thought of it in your last go round. So let's go around the room and talk about it a little bit. Let's start off with Dan this week.
Yeah, pointing the finger. All right. Okay. We watched that. It's literally Yeah, he was the dude. He was his dude that helped him out.
Just
Anyway, sorry, we were watching
to that.
Gladiator while we were away too. Sorry, the one of the characters was in Gladiator and in this. So anyway, I remember watching this movie a long time ago, and I didn't like it. Like, I just adamantly did not like this film because it's so totally different than the films that precede it. Now, admittedly, I have not seen Predator 2. So I know somebody's going to bitch and piss and moan about that, but I've never seen Predator 2. I don't know how that compares to the original. But that being said, on this viewing, I actually enjoyed it. It was okay. It was fine. I have qualms with the movie.
Yeah.
My biggest, I was explaining to her, is I didn't care for it. It didn't feel right from a cinematic perspective. Like, the movie just didn't feel tonally like the other two. Like, where the original Predator, again, my only basis, was like that more gritty action-ish movie, but it still had like a survival horror kind of element to it. And then the Alien films were always kind of bleak. And even the action Alien movie, Aliens, still felt bleak and claustrophobic. In this movie, I don't know what was going on. Everything was too well lit. Everything was too clear.
Yeah.
Everything
well
was
lit.
like
you
yeah.
say that.
Well,
you say that's a complaint now, and then next week you're gonna be like, this movie was not well lit at all, because Requiem is considered one of the darkest movies ever made.
Probably, and I'm sure you're right. But it felt too
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
blockbustery, sterile. Like that was the problem.
It's too shiny.
Everything
too shiny. Like, we're in a pyramid that is centuries old, and it just felt like it was built last week.
It felt like they were like, you have characters that are horror characters, and there was like almost no horror elements to the movie at all. There's like a jump scare here and there, where they attempt to do a jump scare, but
neither the aliens or the predators looked scary to me.
No, I actually did not. I mean, I didn't care for the predator suits.
They just huge. Why were they so big?
They look so big and bulky and awkward. The aliens I didn't mind most of the time. But like the special, the practical effects, we won't say anything about CGI. It's CGI this era. It didn't age well, like 90% of CGI. It looked fine at the time. It's passable. Yeah. It's not stick puppet horrible, as we talked about. But the practical effects went from looking pretty good to times not looking that great.
No.
And I lean that, unfortunately, more toward the Predators, sadly. But even though some shots of the aliens, I was just like, okay. Like, I think that could have been done better, but whatever. But that being said, and most of the cast is throwaway. We even talked about, I don't remember half their fucking names.
I didn't remember any of their names except for one.
I didn't remember the main girl, and then, yeah. You know. But anyway, other than that, like, I thought there were cool moments. There was some obvious homages to the preceding films that I recognized, but other than that, it's a passable popcorn flick. I mean, it's definitely something you could turn on in the background and just, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we did tonight.
I was paying attention.
I mean, yeah, paying attention when needed, but I didn't feel like I had to stare at it the whole time to know what was going on.
Yeah,
have you seen it before, Angela?
One time.
I've seen it a couple times.
Been so long that I only remembered certain bits and pieces of it, like the one alien, and then the ending, and
Fishnets.
Yeah,
great. Or the ending.
Grid. Or whatever.
Grid. Yeah, that's its name. I could never remember its name.
Or Nethead was another name he had.
Oh, by the way, we did watch the unrated version.
Okay, I didn't, because I had to watch my DVD that I got back in 2004. That was the first version they ever released, and then later on they came out with the unrated, and I was like, I don't need that. I don't need it. Well, I didn't.
Actually, go ahead.
All I know is that they added more blood and gore, didn't they, in the unrated version? Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of it's CGI too.
Yeah.
So. Well, I will say, the Blu-ray pack. Remember, I told you I bought it on sale for like $4. Mm-hmm. That worked in our PS5 perfectly fine.
Wow.
I just put it in.
I just put it in my PS4. I didn't want to take the chance. I didn't want to have to fight with it.
I don't blame you. But no, the Blu-ray worked fine. Everything looked great.
Cool.
But go ahead, dear. That's all I had to say about it.
I don't, but like I said, I don't remember watching it the first time. Couldn't remember anybody's name except for Verheiden, because dude yells it.
He does yell it a lot.
Verheiden!
A lot. A little disappointed with some of the kills, just because I guess I wanted to actually see him and not like assume what happened.
Well, it's because we're also going for movies that originally R-rated, and this is PG-13.
Oh yeah, which was a huge mistake by the filmmakers. I mean, mostly it was Fox going, we need more eyes to see this movie. Like, this is going to be a big thing. This is two franchises coming together, and this is going to be a big battle. You know, we got to make sure we want people that couldn't see those original films in theaters to come see this. And so they, of course, find ways to avoid the R rating, but that hurts the film. Like, especially when it's two franchises that have gone, like, every film in the franchise, both of them were all rated R.
Yep. Yeah. And disappointed with some of the CGI, but you know, it is what it is. It's from 2004.
Kudos for making some of the fight scenes though of just like two dudes in suits and not be just a CGI fest.
Yeah.
So props for that.
Yeah, that was really good. But for the most part, I mean, I enjoyed it. For not remembering most of it, I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But
yeah. I saw this movie a lot as a kid. Teenager. The movie came out when I was like 13. But yeah, I saw it a lot. You know, growing up, I remember buying that DVD when it first came out and watched the shit out of it. And yeah, for I haven't probably seen it in full in like over 10 years. I knew everything that happened in the movie though. It's not a very intricate story. It's pretty paint by numbers. You know, hey guys, we got to find some way to get these two things to fight. The backstory, to be honest, the backstory between the predators and why the predator and alien species like coexist, or how they like, you know, they fight, I thought was pretty interesting. The problem is it fucks with the entire it just doesn't make sense to the timeline.
Yeah,
to like where we're going with these franchises, because so this would technically be the first time you've ever seen a xenomorph, because this takes place like 120 years before Alien happens, which is the first time you see it in the franchise. And then,
it's so unceremoniously like, oh, here's why they're on Earth. Like,
yeah. Okay. But it also doesn't answer the question, like, where did the xenomorphs come from? They weren't there. Like, they talk about where the predators came from. They're like, they came from space. They didn't tell them what planet they were from, but they're like, yeah, they came from space. They came down and taught the humans how to build pyramids, and then they had to sacrifice people to then battle the xenomorphs. I'm like, well, where the xenomorphs come from? Where'd you get that? And it's like, we got a queen, and then we chained her up in the basement for a while, and I was like, oh, okay.
I'm assuming they just stole some from the engineers, I guess.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh, man, this is when this franchise just goes off the rails. Like, people will be like, Resurrection goes off the rails. Nah, Resurrection actually makes a lot more sense to the continuity of the Alien franchise than anything that comes after Resurrection. Even when we get to Covenant and Prometheus, the Alien franchise just goes, whoa! It's like a roller coaster that they forgot to finish.
Yeah.
But Paul W.S. Anderson turned down directing the second Resident Evil to do this movie, because Resident Evil Apocalypse came out the same year. He was still a producer, and of course his wife was still in that franchise. She would be in that entire franchise. If you want to watch some early Dissect That Film, before we were even Dissect That Film, go back and watch our 6-episode review of every single Resident Evil movie. Let's just say I don't have a lot of good things to say about those movies. Or Paul W.S. Anderson. I bet, you know, he's probably a great guy. He's just not a great filmmaker, in my opinion. Sorry. I'm literally going to make sure I never have the opportunity to talk to this man. But I just don't like his movies. I have not seen, other than Event Horizon, which I have not seen in a very long time. I know that is a very good movie, at least to most people. And Mortal Kombat, I'm like down the middle with Mortal Kombat, but like most of his movies, especially when they're not original. Like, I feel like Mortal Kombat's based on a video game. So he's like, well, success there. So why don't I just take Resident Evil and just ruin that?
And with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and then made a Monster Hunter movie that just didn't do much with the source material. Hey guys, The Last of Us is doing really good. Maybe you should try making video game adaptations the way The Last of Us is doing it. Just use what they already have created and just add or subtract things, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, so people seem to forget, like we've mentioned before on the show.
Yeah. But so Paul W.S. Anderson wrote this movie, along with some writing credits from Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, who were the original creators of the Alien franchise. They didn't actually write any part of this movie, but Anderson took parts of an original script for Alien and added it to this. So like the whole pyramid origin with the xenomorphs, I guess was part of an original script by O'Bannon. So so they ended up getting writing credits for it. We have David Giler and Walter Hill back as producers. They produced, I think it was just 3 in Resurrection. They might have did Aliens as well. No, just Alien and Resurrection, or Alien 3. Oh, words. This stars Shauna Lathan, who we've talked about on this show before. During Blade. Played Blade's mom.
Oh, well, she's gonna get weird with people in this fucking movie.
Yeah, no, she was okay. We have Raul Bova, who plays Sebastian, who was a fine character. To be honest, there really wasn't characters in this movie that I'm like, oh god, this guy sucks. Like, they were all pretty decent people. Like, there's even scenes where you look like there looks like there's gonna be conflict, and then it was like, I'm glad you're here, and I was like, okay, all right, was not expecting that to happen. Lance Hendrickson's back, and to be honest, watching this movie, I feel like he just was asleep half this movie. He just didn't seem like he wanted to be there. And he was the first person they got to sign on to this movie because they wanted a piece of the Alien franchise to kind of bring that continuity around. Him being Bishop Wayland. I remember that back when I first saw this. I was like, really? This guy? They're bringing this guy back? Like, just to... Okay.
That's what I was saying, too. I told my wife, I was like, this is the only person I swear they recognize from this. I'm surprised they didn't somehow manage to think of a way to bring Sigourney Weaver into this. Just somehow.
So, originally, before they were going to do Alien vs. Predator, they were Fox wanted to make a 5th Alien movie, and so I guess James Cameron had written a script. They had gotten Sigourney Weaver to agree to come back, and they were going to have Ridley Scott direct. Imagine that. All of that.
Holy
Ridley Scott, the original director from Alien, with the writing from James Cameron and Sigourney Weaver. I wanted that movie so bad. But unfortunately, Fox went, you know what? We're gonna do this Alien versus Predator thing. And everyone was like, I'm out. Sigourney Weaver literally was like, I never want to come back to this franchise ever again. This is dumb. James Cameron has come out to state that like it was just the studio wanting to make money. Like it wasn't about making a good movie. It was about the fact is like, oh well, if we make this a fighting, we put these two things together, people are gonna come and it's gonna make a lot of money.
It's because the names have marquee value. You put 2 of them on there.
So yeah, James Cameron, he said a lot of things about this movie, but he later would state that he actually enjoyed it, and it's actually his 3rd favorite Alien movie.
Oh, really?
He hates Alien 3 because Alien 3 fucked with his story, and then
I don't blame him.
Think a lot of people liked Resurrection. But yeah, and Ridley Scott, I guess he also stated he wasn't ever going to come back to the franchise, and then decided to come back to do Prometheus, which was the original story that he had worked. I guess that was something he had written around this time. And when they ended up doing the Alien vs. Predator, he kind of held onto that script and then created Prometheus in 2012, which originally wasn't supposed to be an Alien prequel.
Okay.
I don't know. This franchise is so confusing. reading. So it's like reading hieroglyphics when you're reading about the Alien franchise. You're like, what? Huh? Is this right? Like, did they actually say this?
But there are hieroglyphics in this movie.
There is.
So this is relevant.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. We have
yes.
Ewan Bremer, who was in Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Who the fuck was he?
He was the sniper. The one who always wore the kilt. He was the one who always froze when he was when he was about to shoot someone.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We have a returning actor from from Resident Evil. We have Colin Salmon or Salmon. I don't know if it's pronounced Salmon or Salmon.
It has to fucking salmon.
It's salmon.
I'm good. It's the fish guy.
The funniest thing is he almost dies in the same exact manner as he does in Resident Evil.
He does the grid thing, doesn't he?
Yes, he gets the net on him, and it almost cuts him, and then the predator ends up just killing him. I was like, really, Paul W.S. Anderson? Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me! But yeah, as we stated before, this was the first movie in the franchise, in both franchises, to be rated PG-13, and people were pissed about it.
Yeah,
and even with the unrated cut, it doesn't add anything. It gives you, it's like, hey guys, I know you missed the blood. Here's some blood. And you're like, that's not what I want. I want to be able to see dudes getting their, the freaking alien tongue through their skulls, or like seeing a dude get decapitated. Words are so hard tonight.
I want to see some dude get fucked on a door frame like an Alien 3, man. That's like my pinnacle of the series at this point.
Thrown into a fan, he just turns into big chunks.
Please, we don't get none of that. What is this shit? Unrated my ass.
I know, everything was off screen. I'm like, this is dumb. They're trying to make it more suspenseful, and it's not suspenseful because nothing's scary in this movie.
No, it's just like PG-13
The aliens
plus.
The predators are the worst. Like, the predators look awful in this movie. They look like they just roided up, man. They are just they're so awkward when they run. You ever see, like, they're like, they got that wide run. It just looks terrible.
That's what I was talking about, when like they just look awkward.
And they're just terrible at their jobs.
It's like they're wearing they play in hockey and they're the goalie and they're trying to run down the
It's so bad.
Well, I'm glad I watched this movie again because it did explain something to me that kind of makes the movie make a little more sense, which we'll talk about during the whole shebang. But the plot breakdown.
Do you have to keep putting stuff in your mouth?
I have to. It's a problem. It's a condition, okay? We need to talk about this on air. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Make a scene. Please. On the internet, please.
Were you done talking?
I am now. I can keep going if you want me to.
No, I actually didn't even finish sharing my thoughts on this movie. I thought it was fine. This movie's okay. There's nothing special about this movie. I like the practical effects, like you were saying, like there was the fight between the xenomorph, which is played by Tom Woodruff Jr. again. At least Grid was, or any of the practical ones were played by an actual person, and it looked fun. But then you have slow-mo shots that are just off-putting. You have just the way the predators looked. The aliens looked fine. They were really shiny, and any of the close-up shots looked good on the xenomorphs. I always like the close-up shot where they show their teeth, and you got the drool coming out, and
the lip, like that lip quiver when it slowly starts going up. They've always done that. Looks good.
And when you see the alien queen for the first time and she's in her restraints, and that's all practical, that looks really cool. And then she becomes a CG Usain Bolt just running at and yet this woman is outrunning it somehow. I don't know. This movie is just like, what happened here? And I read something about the fact that we wanted to use very minimal amount of CGI, and it's like, you used a lot of CGI in this movie. What are you talking about? You made this into an action movie, and it didn't need to be. This could have been such a great thing. Like, you are they're humans stuck in a battle between these two species that are fighting each other, and you could have made this pretty scary. You're just like, humans are just getting caught in the crossfire. Instead, there's a whole scene where Predator is taking out like 6 people for no reason. Like, it doesn't matter.
Just to have a body count.
Yeah.
Which is it seems really out of character.
Yeah. These
Sometimes
are the worst Predator, and there will never be any worse Predators. Unless the Predators are worse in Requiem. I haven't seen that movie in so long, I couldn't tell you what the hell happens in that movie other than the fact that you can't see it most of the time.
I remember one of the kills very specifically, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, it is what it is. It's nothing too special. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch this movie again. Now that we've reviewed it, there's a lot of movies now where once we review it, I'm like, all right, don't care about you anymore unless someone invites me on a show to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start going through and just throwing Blu-rays away. It's like, I'm not watching this shit again.
No, I still like having it. It just I don't ever want to put it in anything.
Put it on the very top shelf.
I think I know why the Predators look so awkward in this movie. It's because compared to the aliens, they probably wanted to make the Predators physically imposing as well. Because aliens are usually just really tall and lanky.
Yeah.
But they want to make the Predators like stacked beef men.
But it didn't need to be because the Predator in Predator and Predator 2 was men. They were scary looking, but they're like lean and agile and could do things. Like these dudes couldn't do anything. If they fell over, they probably wouldn't be able to get up. They'd be like turtles on the back on their backs. Like it just.
Yep.
Turtle. They look
because you referenced that 3 times on the fucking weekend to carry on.
The masks.
They look like they needed to poop.
They always had like the turtle stance where their feet are like this.
Yeah,
like
holding it in.
Hold it in. You can't poop till after the hunt. I gotta poop. Yeah.
And
so anyway, I think that's the reason. It's the same thing they did with Freddy versus Jason, and that pissed me off. Recasting for that reason alone is dumb as shit.
Out of the two, when it comes down to the versus movies between Alien vs Predator and Freddy vs Jason, I'd watch Freddy vs Jason 100 times over than this.
Yes. Yeah.
So this movie was it went through development hell. This was based on a comic from the late 80s, and there was a lot of talk between both sides of the fence, between the creators of Predator and the creators of Alien, about the potential of getting these two franchises to fight each other. And it just didn't seem like a good idea for the longest time. And then, of course, once Resurrection came out, Resurrection made money. Like, it made decent money, but it was the lowest grossing in the Alien franchise at the time. So they, it was like, let's try something new. But the problem is you then are burning a lot of bridges with a lot of these people that were involved in these franchises, especially on the Alien side of things, as we stated before. Sigourney Weaver wanted nothing to do with this franchise anymore. Ridley Scott at the time and James Cameron, they were just like, yeah, we're done. We never want to be a part of this ever again. And 2 out of the 3 stayed that way. Sigourney hasn't been back, and James Cameron's off making 17 Avatars. But which is fine. They're making $2+ billion every time. So I guess, what the fuck do I know? But Ridley Scott would come back and do his thing. But these movies just threw everything off. It just didn't have that horror aspect, which I love. Like, even though Aliens wasn't a horror movie per se, it still was like when they're in that room and they have to ward off all the xenomorphs that are trying to get into the room and all that, like with Bill Paxton and that was still terrifying because it's like, it's dark, it's you got the red lights, like everything was scary. You got freaking the piece of shit who's like running away. What the hell was his name? Burke. He's like fucking them all over like that. It still had that horror aspect. It was still scary. This had none of that. It was just an action movie with just cannon fodder and characters that they tried to make you care about. And then at the end, you're like, I could care less about any of these people. Like, there was literally, you had one character who's like, look at my kids. I have kids, care about me. And then they ended up killing him pretty quickly.
Because he got like doubly fucked.
Yeah.
Too. Like, we were talking about that. We're like, because we even said, like, we were watching like one of the few characters we actually enjoyed. He was the lovable nerd, if you will, character, and I enjoyed him as a character, as far as like not like didn't think he was great, but I liked his character. What was
Miller?
Yeah, I didn't pronounce his first fucking name. But anyway, but yeah, like it's weird, and it's not even like, oh no, they killed him off. It's so tragic. You're just like, well, that's a thing.
Tommy Flanagan. I love Tommy Flanagan. He's the one who played Verheiden. Like, he's been in a bunch of stuff, and he was in Braveheart. He was in Sons of Anarchy. He's been in a lot of things, and he's always great. This movie did nothing for me. He just does nothing. He just falls in a hole and then ends up dying off screen, because that's what most of the deaths are in this movie.
Yes.
He gets his legs broken and he gets face huggered.
Yeah. There was it. I can't even remember. What was the woman? The woman with the short hair. What was her name? The one who was like, "Why do you?" She had the gun, and Lex is like, "What do you need the gun for?" And she's like, "Well, it's better to have one than to not have one. It's kind of like a condom," which I thought was a funny line. And you're like, "This is going to be she's going to be the bitch of the movie, right?" And then the next line is, "I'm really happy you stayed." And I was like, damn it, you're going to make me like this character who dies 7 minutes later?
Yeah. Rousseau.
Yeah, okay. Yep. It's just, a lot of, I hate when they do that, when they give you they give you way too many characters with names, and then they're like, hey guys, and we're going to give you backstories, and then we're going to kill them really quick, so you have no feelings for these people.
Dude, and it's like they don't even build them up right. It's just like, let's just have them say a few lines and just off. And some of them don't even get a few fucking lines. Sometimes
and everybody dies so fast. Like, it's so fast. Like, everybody gets separated in like different spaces, and it's like, all right, all these people died. Now everybody in this room's dead. And then we have the like 5 remaining people who then get split up because the pyramid's moving around. And then we're down to our main character, who then, high fives a predator and, skips down the goddamn lane. Like,
just pump.
And then it was like the predator. Okay, we'll get to that when we get to the plot. This movie is a mess. And I'm glad that we decided we were going to do it.
You know what? Hey, it had to come eventually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. I feel like we've rambled on enough about this. I don't. You want to know more about the behind the scenes of this movie? Just look it up. You'll find plenty of stuff. We're gonna get to this plot. So, did you guys watch the alternate beginning? The alternate opening to the movie?
I don't know. What opening did you get?
So the movie starts off in Antarctica in 1904.
That's what we got.
Okay, where a man's like running away from something, and he goes into a shack, and it ends up being a predator. But then, as the predator's about to kill him, an alien jumps out at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the alternate opening?
That's it. No, that's it. I don't know I think the opening is the next scene.
Well, see, because I remember watching it like a long time ago. I was like, I don't remember this opening.
No.
So,
I think the original opening is literally the next scene, where you see it looks like the Queen, but then it ends up being a satellite.
Yeah,
which is a really cool shot. I actually like that shot where it was very like, oh shit, is that we're gonna see the Queen in the first 30 seconds of this movie, and then it ends up being a satellite. Like,
so that's what I thought. I was like, that looks like the Queen's mantle.
Yeah, and it's owned by Wayland.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did thought it didn't need to be there, that extra beginning bit. Like, I don't think it adds any context whatsoever.
It really doesn't. It's pointless.
It's literally like 45 seconds of nothing.
I think the only reason they added that in is because later on in the movie they talk about like, oh, this dial is set for 1904, and it's like, okay. Well, it's like, okay, we want to show you what happened in 1904.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, I forgot about the tuner.
So we're in Nebraska, Dan's old stomping grounds.
I don't know if that's a real fucking place. It's not. That was cocksuckers. They couldn't have said like Kearney or Grand Island or Claytonia.
Is that a real place, Claytonia?
Yeah, I've been through it a couple times.
That's interesting. So this is Wayland Industries, and they're watching some screens with some satellites that one of the satellites, which is the satellite we see in the beginning, has picked up a heat signature in Antarctica. Now, the two guys that discover this, those are Tom Woodruff Jr. and Alec Gillis. So the two guys that discover this was Tom. I'm just be able to cut this all out. The guys that discover this are the effects guys, Tom Woodruff Jr. and Gillis. There, I didn't sense a lot of acting going on here, but carry on. Yeah, they're like, oh, screen points red on screen.
It's just one of the aliens nuking a hot pocket. Like, dum, 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 dum. You know what movie did this opening better?
What?
Independence Day.
Yeah, speaking of Independence Day, it all goes around. So yeah, to look at all around Independence Day, the composer was Harold Closer, who has worked with a lot with Roland Emmerich, who directed Independence Day. He actually was the composer for The Day After Tomorrow, which it came out the same year as this. There's actually, when you watch this DVD, there's actually an ad for A Day After Tomorrow. A Day After Tomorrow,
okay.
iRobot, and Man on Fire, 3 bangers from 2004.
I've seen 2 of those 3 movies.
It better be Man on Fire.
No.
Oh my god, Man on Fire is a great movie. I highly recommend it. It's directed by Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's brother. R.I.P. He was also the composer for 10,000 BC, which was also Roland Emmerich. 2012, White House Down, the second Independence Day, Midway, and Moonfall, which came out last year. So he's worked with Roland Emmerich a lot. So yeah, they discover the heat signature at this temple in Antarctica. We then go to Nepal, where this woman is just free climbing on ice, and I'm like, this looks awful. This is something I will never do. This is terrible. But she's climbing up. She gets a call while in the middle of this climb from an associate of Whalen. And I guess she's fucked with him a lot, because I guess she constantly is getting lawsuits. She's like, what is he here? What is he going to want to sue me again? Like, no, he wants to work with you. She's like, well, it's going to be an issue if you want it to be this certain day. And then she gets to the top, and of course it's the associate there, which his name is Maxwell, who is played by Colin Salmon. Yes, we're calling him Salmon, and people can yell at us if we're saying his name wrong.
Salmon.
We then go to Mexico, where an archaeologist named Sebastian discovers something, and it turns out to be a bottle cap. So they literally were so excited about finding this cool thing, and it ended up being an old Pepsi bottle cap. So that's unfortunate.
Vintage.
Yep. And then Maxwell's there recruiting him to go on this mission. I'm like, are we watching this really weird knockoff of the Avengers or something? Like, they're all like, we need you for a mission.
It's the League of Sub-Average Gentlemen.
Oh, I can't wait for that, to cover that movie, because that movie was hated so much. I always remember liking it, but I digress.
Me too.
So it's time to go to the coldest place on Earth, Antarctica. A word I can never spell right. And we're in a helicopter where Lex meets Graham. I think that's how his name is pronounced. And he's a chemical engineer. And this is where we get some backstory on this character about how he's got kids. He's trying to document everything. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to connect with this character. So then it goes nowhere.
Yep.
They have to land on an icebreaker, which is called the Piper Maru, which is actually a reference to an episode of The X-Files. It's a ship there's an episode where they investigate a sunken ship called the Piper Maru, which actually is Gillian Anderson's daughter's first and middle name.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I know the Maru tends to be the last name of boats in Japan. I believe the boat in the original Godzilla that sinks is the Yahata Maru, and the boat that was originally too close to one of the nuclear tests that helped inspire Godzilla was the Lucky Dragon, which I don't know what that breaks down into in Japanese or something along those lines. But Maru is like usually the ending name of a boat. So very interesting. It worked out.
Yeah. So we meet Wayland, and he is played by Lance Hendrickson. Back. His name is Charles Bishop Wayland. And he has everybody here for a mission. And that mission is to go down to this temple or pyramid or whatever it is, which is 2,000 feet below the surface underneath this whaling station on this island off of Antarctica. And
sounds fake.
Yeah. So they're going to go study it. But Lex is like she's the person who's brought in to like train everybody on this thing to like be able to make sure everything is safe. And they're like, nope, we got to go now. You don't have time for this. So she's like, well, I'm out. And so she ends up quitting at that time. and she then finds out who the person's going to be coming in to replace her, which that never goes anywhere. So she gets pissed, and again, she like confronts Wayland about it, and he's like, I don't know what to tell you. I need to find this thing before somebody else does. So either you're here or you're not. And so she's like, you bastards, you're going to pay for this. And then she leaves. And then she's hanging out with Sebastian and Graham on the boat. And they, I guess, got a really good relationship with her already. They've known each other for about 6 minutes. And they're like, we really wish you would stay. And she's like, well, if they let me do my job. And they're like, we really wish you'd stay. I'm like, I don't know you. Like, we don't know each other. Why are you so connected to me? This is weird.
I know, they're like forced relationships out the ass in this movie.
So stupid. And then we then go back into space where we see a Predator ship coming in. And
shit, hot pockets are done.
Yeah. Ooh. And this is where we get the like hologram look of the pyramid, which Paul W.S. Anderson loves the hologram look. We get it a lot in the Resident Evil franchise. And yeah, so they are going to Earth, and they get sent down in like some like a cool ship, or no, and it's like a laser that like shoots a hole into the Earth before before their like pods go down.
I mean, you got to warm it up before you stick it in. I mean, come on. What, they got to activate the spit on it, Ray?
All right. We got it. We got it in, guys. We got it in.
Is that in yet?
Yes.
That was the Earth speaking.
The next scene, Lex is there. Yay! That all didn't amount to anything, but she's there prepping everybody for this. And this is where she runs into that one woman. I already forgot her name. Where she's got the gun, and you got the whole line. It was like, why do you need a gun? She's like, well, it's like a condom. You just want to be prepared. Either, you want to have one, just in case, or, instead of not having one when if something's about to. That's not how the quote went, but you get what I'm talking about here. And then you're like, and like I said before, you literally, after she says this, you're like, this character's going to be like, she's going to be a bitch. And she's not. She's like, I'm really glad you stayed. Yeah.
She wants to have it and not need it.
Yes.
Then
there you
need
go.
it and not
I'm terrible.
Same thing I tell people when they ask me about it.
What?
Same thing I tell people when they ask me about it.
Oh, I thought you were going back to
my penis? No. Sometimes I wish I could leave that fucker at home.
It's not detachable.
But yeah, everybody seems really nice in this entire group. You don't really meet any like characters that are like the 8. Like, I think that's one thing I can say positively about this movie is the fact like characters are likable. But you just don't get to to know them.
Sorry, I would say Vera Heiden's probably the most standoffish of the bunch,
but he's just standoff
pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's just kind of, he's a tough guy, but and probably somebody who's been doing his job for a long time. But the fact that Lex says something to him, and he's just like, "Yes, ma'am," instead of it just being like complete douche about it. Yep. I don't know. So Sebastian, we get the whole backstory behind the bottle cap, and then they talk about the moon and what they call it in Italy. Couldn't tell you what it was. We then get to Whaling Station. Huh?
It was a Hunter's Moon, but I don't know the actual Italian.
Oh, yeah. Which connects to the Predator. Yeah.
I don't understand his accent. So
all I remember, it sounded like some kind of pasta. And I was like...
He always got to do
dual wielding it. It was a little thick.
The biggest stereotype when it comes to Italians. It's like, do they all talk? I don't think they all talk like that. I'll have to ask my Italian friends. So we are at the Whaling Station, and there was rules that Lex had stated before they went out. Is like, you don't go anywhere by yourself. We always communicate. And there was a third rule I couldn't remember. And what does Graham do? That motherfucker just ventures off by himself.
Hell yeah. It's only cold as fuck. Let's go to this Whaling Station.
Yeah.
Around.
We got to take pictures for social media.
Yeah. No, there wasn't so well. Was there MySpace?
Probably.
What song should I set on my profile this week?
Yeah, I gotta update my Angel Fire website.
I don't know what it is.
GeoCities. Sorry, I'm dating myself.
And he gets spooked by a couple penguins.
Those penguins were scary as shit, dude.
Yeah. So Sebastian discovers a tunnel that is perfectly cut straight to the pyramid that they need to go to, and they're baffled. They're like, what could have done this? This wasn't here yesterday. They don't think about it that hard, though. They're just like, nah, we're going to go down it. They're like, what?
Like, could somebody else have done this? He just looks over and like, how do you think somebody else could have done this?
The funniest thing is, like, this tunnel is long. Like, this is a big tunnel. It goes a long way. How long did they think it was going to take them to cut through that ice to get down to that pyramid if this tunnel wasn't there?
It had to, like, I don't know how fast their equipment was going to be. It had to be like months, maybe.
But he didn't have months.
I know.
Because she says something about training for a few weeks, and he's like, we don't have a few weeks. So what the hell were they planning on doing if this hole wasn't there? I don't know. So you then see the Predators gearing up. It's kind of like a Batman and Robin situation where it's like a close-up shot of them putting on their... I just like... Nope, sorry.
Get the Predator nipples, like the Predator hands.
We didn't.
The Predator dick.
I mean, you do see some Pred nips in this one. Oh, no, the Queen is down!
You knocked her off.
Did I? I'm sorry.
The Queen is down.
I wasn't touching the desk.
We lost a leg. Fuck.
We then Lex notices that Waylon is he's not feeling so hot. He's coughing a lot. He's using like this weird inhaler, and she's like, there's no room for sick people on this trip, and he's like, bitch, I paid for this. I'm going. I don't give a fuck what you say. And then she tells the story about her dad and how they climbed up a mountain. I don't remember what mountain. It could have been K2. It was one of those big, one of the bigger ones. And
they tell you, I can't remember it now.
Yeah, and they climbed up. She had her first drink with her dad at 16,000 feet, and then on the way down, he got a blood clot and died. Right, it was like
broke a leg or something, didn't he?
No, it just said they got a blood clot, which is how a lot of people die climbing. Is just blood clots because of the altitude difference. But
I'm good at the altitude, man.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good never attempting to climb any of those type of mountains. All right.
Yep.
No, thank you. When you have a mountain where they have markers that are just frozen bodies that they can't retrieve, why the fuck do I want to attempt that? What am I getting out of this other than just like, I climbed Mount Everest? Listen, you want to climb Mount Everest? More power to you. Me, I'm good. That's terrifying.
I'm good. I'm good down here.
I've read enough books. I've watched enough movies about climbing Everest. Yes. That shit is terrifying.
I seen what the weather was like on that mountain in the Northeast.
Washington.
Whew.
It was fucking freezing here. It was like negative 35 with wind chill. A couple days ago, my thermostat decided to wanted to fuck up and not work, so my house was like an ice box. It was great. So yeah, she tells the story. He died right before they got down to base camp, and I don't know where. I guess it was just the fact of like, don't push yourself too hard because you're by the time you're about to achieve something, you could just die. I think that was the whole moral of the story. So probably. A storm is coming in because they're in Antarctica, where storms happen all the time, but yet they are not prepared for the storm. Yeah. They already put shit out, and then they're like trying to reel things back in, and the storm is coming. I'm like, what are you doing?
Everything's fine.
And then because of all the wind and shit that's going on above, it fucks with the lines that are feeding them down the tunnel, and Waylon comes unhooked, and so he's sliding down, and he gets an axe to his hood to save him. So that's cool.
Yeah, I got words about the next pickaxe related scene we're about to get.
So the Predators are dropped off, and they're pods that look way smaller than what the Predators are, because like they come down, I'm like, it's a really thin looking pod, and then the Predator comes out, I'm like, how the hell did you fit in that?
Clown car.
Clown car effect, yes. Thank you.
It is a cool shot though when the ship goes over the station and there's no sound. It's just that one guy's kind of just standing there, and then the ship goes over it, and then he looks up as it like leaves. I thought that was actually a really good shot.
It was a cool shot.
So they make it to the bottom, and they're still like, who made this tunnel? I was like, I mean, do you want to find out? This thing, like, whatever it was, clearly has some dangerous shit.
Listen, dude, she was already dilated. It warmed it up for you. You could just slide right in. Don't even worry about it. Don't ask questions. But beat this fucking horse till it's nothing left.
I mean, have you not got there yet?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I mean, they had to go 2,000 feet. That's a long fucking way in.
I love it, though. They get to
dog down the hallway.
Like a hot dog down a hallway. Like I said, there ain't no tread left on that tire. It just whoop. They do that. They throw the flare down that one hole.
They sure do. So they're looking for the pyramid, and it's right in front of them in the most dramatic sense possible, where they shoot some flares, and you just get kind of a little silhouette of the pyramid in the distance. Oh no, they hook up a shit ton of lights. Like, yeah, man, that's a lot of electricity from probably generators, right? Like, it has to be. So we then. Oh no! So then they're like, okay, we're gonna go into the pyramid. We're gonna investigate. We're gonna see what the hell is going on in here. And we get to see the first carving of a predator versus alien fight going on. And they're like, this doesn't look suspicious at all. We're gonna keep going. We then see the queen alien. She must have been activated. Somebody stepped on a piece that like goes into the floor, like an activation pad, which then opens up the chamber on which the queen rises up. And it's actually, I really like the design of the queen in this movie when it's practical.
Yeah.
And of course she's like chained up and stuff, and she's pretty much just being used to birth all the eggs, because you see like the eggs being birthed, and then they're being brought down like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, it's like they take her out of the soup, man. It's like cryo.
Yeah, because she was fully frozen, and then she slowly starts to thaw out. And really cool design. And they find the sacrificial chamber. I'm like, yep, that's when I go, I'm gonna keep going, guys. I don't want to be in this room. This room looks terrifying, especially when you're discovering people who are just giant holes, like missing from their chest. And at first they're like, oh yeah, they just went for they're removing hearts. And it's like, well, that's not where the heart is. And the bones are going up, meaning something came out of them. It's like, I'm out, man. I'm out of
Does
here.
that feel like they're trying to recapture scenes that were done much better in the movies originally?
Absolutely.
Carry on. Yes.
So they discover another room is below the sacrificial chamber. So, but then you got shit going on above, where all of the guys above in the whaling station are getting attacked by the predators.
For no reason.
Yeah, literally just kills everybody. And then the one, I think he was probably the leader of the group, he falls down the tunnel and slides all the way down to the bottom.
Oh yeah, the one dude, because he like gets in the skirmish. See, I hate this scene. Here's my problem. Like, this dude like falls down, right? Yeah. He's like sliding on this big ass slip and slide, because she's wet. But anyway, he takes the pickaxe and puts it in front of him, like by his body, tries to stop himself this way, which is going to do jack and shit. Because if you by chance did hook it, because he didn't hang on to it, it was going to whip around you and probably jerk your shoulder muscle and either pull something or dislocate your shoulder, when you should have been trying to slow yourself down from behind to begin with. I'm not a climber, but that's fucking physics, dude.
That's why I lost that pickaxe real quick.
No kid. I'm like, good God, dude.
Well, he gets finished off at the bottom, and somehow he is completely like frosted over. I was like, what? He wasn't like that before.
Which I don't understand how the predators could see him if he was cold.
Didn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's so stupid. It's like, they didn't see me. And then the third one just.
Yeah, because he's like laying there.
Oh, I'm so relaxed.
Oh no. So they explore the room below, where they discover a sarcophagus, which has like a little dial on the top. And they notice that the last date was 1904. And guess what, guys? It's 2004, meaning it's 100 years. So Sebastian does a little thing with it, opens it up, and there's 3 weapons. Well, they don't know it's weapons, but there's 3 shoulder cannons in the sarcophagus. And they're like, ooh, what to do with this? What to do with this? And they're like, we're gonna take them, because you get the scene where Lex is like, okay, we're done with the day, and Maxwell's like, you can go back, we're gonna stay here. She's like, no, you listen to me, you little bitch. We're
Part of
gonna
the deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure everybody's safe. We're gonna leave. So and then Waylon was, supporting her, but they take the weapons, which then activate, like, tells the Predators that they took the weapons, so they know exactly where they gotta go.
And Sebastian even says, like, dude, don't fucking take them.
And once they're taken, it fucks with the pyramid. Because I'm guessing the whole thing is that the Predators come. It's a hunt. It's just like a sport thing. They come here to hunt the xenomorphs. So they come here, they get their weapons, and then the pyramid changes all the time to kind of make it more of a game for the Predators. Like, this is all for the Predators. It's more for the hunt. But yeah, the pyramid transforms every 10 minutes.
This is like, now this movie ends up becoming a combination of the movie The Cube. For some odd reason, elements of, I keep getting like vibes of The Mummy, even though that's not what's going on here.
Yeah.
And just like the blends of like all these different movies, and like none of them work. Like I don't like the whole like shifting pyramid thing. It's just kind of,
yeah.
When you find out why they're there, it just seems really fucking pointless.
Oh yeah, 100%. So you see in the sacrificial chamber, the eggs come up in front of like all of the beds that are there, and yeah, they open up, and this is when you get the face huggers flying in slow motion, leaping at them in slow motion.
CG face huggers.
Yeah. And these characters you thought you were going to get to know just become nothing. They're just people to have aliens get birth from them. But yeah, so all these people get attacked by the facehuggers, and so now it's time to get the fuck out of here. Why haven't we figured this out a while ago? I don't know. This is stupid. And this is when the guns get pulled out by Maxwell and Verheiden. To be honest, I did not like Maxwell. I didn't like this character. And when
he seemed pointless, didn't he?
He was generic. He was just that generic. He was probably the biggest bad guy of this movie. Like, when it comes to like bad guys, like, this is the one person I'd be like, yeah, he's a shitty person.
They literally could have got rid of his character entirely, and like when people were getting recruited, just had fucking Verheiden or even Wayland himself go do it, and then like you'd be one less character you have to hire, because he was so throwaway. He literally amounted to nothing in this movie.
We go back to the sacrificial chamber with that one woman, and the facehugger's on the ground dead, of course, and of course that she's got something inside of her, and boy, the gestation period is about 30 seconds. She literally gets the facehugger, and then immediately the chest burster comes out.
Yep.
Damn.
That's what I said. I was like, that's a fucking quick one.
Holy shit. And so, yeah, she's dead. And we then get our first attack on the group by the Predator. You get them like leaping back and forth on like this platform above them. And it wasn't very impressive. It was kind of lame. It was just a bunch of guys shooting up in the air and the Predator just leaping back and forth.
The usual.
And then this is when they figure out that the pyramid is rotating or is shifting every 10 minutes, because it separates the entire group. You have Graham and Verheiden together. They both have to mention they have kids. I'm like, stop it. You're going to die in 30 seconds. Stop trying to make me care. I don't want you to die. I want these characters to survive, but you're not. I know you're not going to survive, so stop it.
I did kind of like where they kind of turned this trope on the head of Graham.
Yeah.
Where he's like, just because he's a nerdy guy doesn't mean he doesn't know how to like assert himself and be a leader in a situation. Yeah. Like, it's just the opposit of what it usually is. But I at least like that part.
But you have the line from Graham where he's like, I'm going to make sure you get out of here, even if it means I got to drag you out. I'm like, do you guys have a relationship? Like, is this just a survival mechanism? Like, I don't know what they're trying to do to me here, but
the only people in this movie that have a realistic established relationship, I feel, are Alexa and Wayland.
Yeah,
That's it.
I agree. To be honest, I think maybe maybe Lex and Sebastian a little bit, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they at least knew each other beforehand, Alexa and Wayland.
Yeah.
Because they talked about getting sued before.
Right.
Again. So.
But yeah, immediately after this interaction between Verheiden and Graham, they get taken out by xenomorphs off screen. Or at least
Yes.
Well, at least Verheiden gets. Well, no, they both get cocooned later, but they get taken out off screen, and you're like, wow, that was great. So the Predators attack again. They attack Lex and her group, and this is when you see the Predators using the net that like burns into people, and Maxwell almost gets cubed up again like he did in Resident Evil. But he's able to stop. He's able to like stop it, but the Predator stabs him with his staff.
It's a pretty sweet fucking net, dude.
Yeah, it is.
It's badass. I'm glad they brought that back for Prey.
Oh yeah, that was one of the gnarliest kills in that movie.
That's so fucking good.
So, and the Predator that is dealing all this damage is the first Predator to get killed because alien stabs it through the chest with its tail, brings him up, and tongue punches it right in the forehead.
Tongue punch, yeah, that's what I like. Dude, I'm gonna make a... Never mind. That's for later. Carry on.
But then the other Predator comes in and he fights it. He actually cuts the tip of the tail off, which I'm like, that's a bad idea. You got the shot where the alien is at like the end of the hall, and it uses its own blood against the Predator. It like whips the blood at it with its tail to burn him. And then This is the one that uses the net on the alien, which would then become our little boy Grid, which I finally can use him. He finally shows up.
Nice.
Yeah, he's cool. He's actually a really cool design. But
I do like that aesthetic with him having that Grid's, like, it's not even just on his head, it's also on like his arms and shit. Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, he fights this alien, and he ends up losing.
Yeah.
So this one xenomorph has killed two Predators in the matter of 2 minutes.
Yep.
I'm like, holy shit. So
that's a big complaint of mine I always had watching this movie. It's like, I know xenomorphs are like supposed to be like a big deal, right? Like you don't fuck around with a xenomorph, right? That's kind of the same thing with Predator, and like I kind of hated how like they were just like pretty easily disposed of.
Yeah.
But whatever. They explain a little bit why later, but
so the Predator, I like how they're trying to get to another part of the pyramid. They're trying to get out of there, and the Predator is following them because he just wants his gun. He's not looking to kill any more people because he literally walks by Wayland. Well, actually, he picks him up and he sees that his heart isn't doing so good. So he's like, or he sees he has cancer. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he's eaten up with cancer real bad.
So he pretty much just puts him down and is like, you're going to die anyways. And the Predator walks away and he ends up, does he shoot at it? I think he shoots it.
With a flamethrower.
Yeah, he said,
right. With the can in the, And the Predator's like, are you fucking serious right now? I just literally let you live, you dick. And so he gets shish kebabbed. Yeah. We're down. Now we're only down to Lex, Sebastian, the last Predator, and some xenomorphs. The Predator, this is the cool one where he kills a face hugger. He splits it. He throws the thing. It splits it in half. And then he ends up killing a xenomorph because the xenomorph tries to like sneak up behind him and he cuts like it's the front of its face off.
Oh, it's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. And Sebastian and Lex are watching it from another room as he's like marking his helmet, and he also marks his forehead with the symbol and whatever that means. But then you get a second facehugger that jumps at it, and then it just cuts to black. It cuts to the next scene. You're like, oh, does that go anywhere? Stay tuned. Sebastian tells the story, somehow knows the entirety of the story of the Predator's relationship with humans and how they were seen as gods. They pretty much came down to teach the humans how to build pyramids and all that stuff, but they had to be worshipped. And they had to, every 100 years, they had to sacrifice a bunch of people to fight off the xenomorphs. And you get the scene where you get the one Predator who's like happy he got a kill. And then the next scene, there's like 5,000 xenomorphs
Yes.
going up this pyramid. And it's like, yeah, well, they got to make sure if the hunters lose, you know, they got to wipe them all out pretty much. So they nuke the whole place.
That's kind of like, oh, here's what happened to the Mayans.
Yep.
And the Incans and the Aztecs. Like,
Yep.
just fucking nuke took them all out.
Good job. Predators did it. It's all their fault.
Yep.
So we find out Graham is not dead. And actually, Verheiden is right next to him, but you never see his face. You just see like his lower body, and he's got the gun. But
He's kind of getting mounted.
Oh yeah, because he's got the face hugger on, and this other face hugger is about to jump onto Graham, and he ends up getting Verheiden's gun before it hits him, and he shoots it. But then there's like all these other eggs around with the face huggers coming out. He's like, oh shit, and then all you hear is just him shooting at the other ones.
Yeah.
This dude gets fucked.
Yeah, he does.
So Lex decides it's time that they give the Predator its weapon back.
Okay. Have you seen the meme of the one white chick sitting on the couch with all the bros behind her?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that with Graham and just put face huggers behind it. Because that's exactly what fucking happened. That's 100% what happened, dude.
All right, I'm gonna make
There's
sure.
more alien wing wong than his body has room for.
Oh god. Photoshop.
Somebody's gonna do it. Do it. Somebody do it.
So yeah, so Lex is like, I think it's best if we give him back his gun. And of course Sebastian's not about it at first, but then he's like, yeah, okay. Because she's like, we can't let the serpents up to the surface. So in this movie, the aliens are never called aliens, and the predators are never called predators. The predators are either called hunters or I think they were just called beings. And then
Big boys.
Yeah, the Aqua 2C boys.
That's right. That's
and,
right. Fuck yes.
And the aliens were called a couple other things. And one of them was like Lex calls them serpents, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh no, it's cool. I mean, with the way they're kind of designed with their long, wavy tails, it makes sense. I mean, you could call them that.
So Sebastian is taken out by a xenomorph after they like try to jump. They jump across there was a bridge and it's out, and they're jumping across it, and Lex doesn't make it, so he's trying to save her, and as he's saving her, the xenomorph takes him.
Insert stereotypical plot, like action moment, set piece here, the jumping bridge thing.
And the funny thing is, she gets up and she doesn't really show much concern about him getting taken. She's just like,
oh shit,
I made it.
Yeah.
Wonder where Sebastian went.
Yeah. Fuck, he's got my keys.
Oh no. Well, the Predator finds her and she's like, hey, I want to be your friend. Here's your gun back. And as this happens, a xenomorph comes out of nowhere and starts attacking the Predator, which then she ends up killing it because she takes the spear and spears it. And so that's kind of like a, hey, we can be cool now because you killed the xenomorph. So we're going to be friends. High five.
Yep.
And he creates. I like though that we get shown that the Predator or the alien's blood does not affect itself. Like it can't. Its blood doesn't burn it because he like puts the blood on he pretty much rips off the alien's head to make like a shield. But he literally takes the blood and pours it on it. It shows no effect, but then it shows that it burns.
Which would work because it's an exoskeleton. He's just severing the connection between the inner part of the creature and then its exoskeleton, which is cool. I thought that was a neat thing.
Yeah, because we never got to see. We've never seen that before.
I can't wait to the Saturday morning cartoon, Pred and Lex Adventures.
Adventures of Pred and Lex.
Pred and Lex in the concrete jungle, and it'd just be like Predator 2. I don't fucking know.
Oh man, you see down the hallway that Grid is clearly the leader of the xenomorphs. You could tell he's like always out in front, leading everybody around. A bunch of them. I like how the Predator shoots his shoulder cannon at him, and he just dodges, and the dude behind him's like, "Fuck."
Yes. It's very similar to Alien Resurrection.
Yeah. Well, they're in the water.
Yeah.
So the Predator lets Lex join him since she killed the xenomorph. He creates the armor. And we then see Grid and the other xenomorphs go into the Queen. And we get a very similar scene to another similar something from Alien Resurrection was in order to get the queen out of her restraints, they actually attack the queen to let her so that the blood burns or melts the restraints, setting her loose. And then we get the CG queen, which is just not great.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is the effects were done by the same guy who did the effects for Titanic and Avatar.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So,
I guess
it's all about budget too.
True.
Well, Amalgamated Dynamics did the practical. So Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. They also did that for Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection.
I don't know, man. I just felt like some of the practicals in those two movies were just better than this.
I thought the aliens looked fine until they were CG and they were just flying all over the place. And I was like, wow, they're so fast.
It's like my main concern was just with the Predator. Like, I just didn't think it looked all that great.
No,
like, sometimes some shots just didn't look that great.
The practical and CG just didn't look great for those Predators.
Yeah.
It was like my issues when Alien was like flopping all over the place. I'm like, what is it doing? Pitching a fit? Like,
he's got the spirit.
Oh God. So the Predator. Oh no, I already read that. So yeah, we find Sebastian. He's cocooned into the wall, and it's too late. He knows that there's something inside of him about to come out, and so Lex has to shoot him. But then the chest burster still comes out, and the Predator catches it, and then it snaps its neck with its thumb. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like I think he gets it. He's like, okay, admirable, but like, all right.
So
I just feel like this whole time Lex is with the Predators, just like, notice me, senpai, and he's like, shut the fuck up. Just stay back there and don't talk.
Oh, so the queen is free, and she is fast as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. It's too fast.
What?
Fast as fuck, boy.
That's what she's saying the whole time. It just throws it off, man. She just doesn't see it. Like, I feel like she should be more billowing and like creepy as she's coming through like the hallways, and she's so fast. She's literally running on her back feet. She's not even like galloping or anything. It's just weird.
Damn.
I don't like
that
it.
Snail is fast. Fuck, turbo shit. Yes, you're right. It doesn't look right. You figured it would be more like purposeful and like stalking.
Yeah.
Like it would be like the T-Rex in the original Jurassic Park when it's coming out of the fence. Like, it has purpose when it moves. And this is just like, let's just make it super fast.
She's like, now blast.
Gotta go fast. Sanic, chili dogs.
Sanic.
My Hot Pockets!
So the Predator plants the nuke inside the chamber, and then they got to get out of there. And unfortunately, all the xenomorphs just die very unceremoniously, including Grid, which I felt like he should have made it to the end of the movie, but he just ends up blowing up.
Yeah, during the final battle, like Grid should have just like rolled the fuck up, dude. That'd been awesome, dude. Oh my god, that would have made the ending so much better.
Yeah. So the Predator gets attacked right before they're about to go up the tunnel, and Lex ends up taking care of it. And then they get to go on the coolest sled ride ever. They just hold on, just shoots them out of the tunnel.
Rocket sleds.
And they make it out just in time as
this is
the
like
explosion is following them up the tunnel. It wasn't a great effect on that blow up. Like when the bomb goes off, it wasn't that great.
No, it's like reverse Cool Runnings is all it was.
Oh, John Candy, I miss you.
That movie.
The Predator takes off its mask, and to be honest, I've never been a fan of these. The mask is so basic and boring, and because these Predators are so jacked or so big, the masks just don't seem big enough for their faces. It's like, we need to redesign these. These dudes are taking too much.
They definitely don't look right, because there'd be sometimes you'd see the mask, right? And like, at least in the first Predator, everything just worked, right? And I know it was because Stan Winston and shit was involved, but everything just fucking worked.
Yeah.
But like, they need to have like a roll or two coming out underneath the mask on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could see.
Yeah, like a
you
double
could see
chin going on over
underneath.
there.
Yeah.
He did. Lay off the fucking pred snacks, bro.
So he marks Lex, the same symbol that he marks on himself. The Queen crashes the party. Where did she come from? Did she just dig herself through a bunch of ice to get here? And she just ends up blasting through there. And then she just full out. She stabs the Predator at first, throws him aside. So then she's just chasing Lex, which Lex is somehow not outrunning it, but she's keeping in pace with the Predator, with the Queen. And then they get to a water tower, which then the Predator shows back up like, hey, I'm back. And the Queen stabs him again with the tail. And they end up chaining her to the water tower as it's toppling over into the ocean. And she gets
one of her chains is still attached to her, or she was restrained.
That's right. Because they have to show you that when she escapes, that she's dragging it behind her.
Dude, they do fuck her up good, though.
Yeah.
Because they get some good stabs in, and the Predator
stab her in the throat, and she's just like, and she like falls back into the building.
Yeah, and then she gets stabbed again in the throat, and the Predator fucking throws a javelin through her head. She gets fucked up, dude.
But yeah, she gets attached to the water tower and gets sent to the bottom of the ocean.
Is this a Titanic reference?
You just have Celine Dion come on. Well, oh, shut up!
Yeah, it just ends with Lex on a fucking door.
Yeah,
the Predator's like,
it's just Leonardo DiCaprio like, I could have fit on the door.
Yes.
Why do we always make Titanic references? We did that when we talked about Orphan.
The Predator comes down and is like, dude, the rest of the other Predators come down like, you know, he could have fit on that door, right?
Damn you, James Cameron. So the Predator ends up dying, and I think she's trying to show emotion that he's dead, but she doesn't. She's just there, stone faced, and then other Predators just magically show up. She doesn't hear them. She just turns around. There's just 15 more Predators ready to carry him off, and they see the mark on Lex, and they're like, high five. And they give
high five as this burn symbols in their faces. High five.
And they give the lead Predator gives her the spear, and then she's like, "How the fuck am I supposed to get out of here?"
Yeah,
that's what we said.
I'm in Antarctica right now. How am I so fucking? Can you guys give me a ride or something?
Here's your awesome prize.
This is literally the worst place you could be stranded.
Yeah.
Let me just pick up my phone. Hey, can somebody come pick me up in Antarctica?
Need a ride.
Shit, the service here is awful. I don't know. She got a phone call in fucking Nepal on the side of a damn mountain. So
it felt like such a Mission Impossible 2 moment.
Oh my god.
So the Predator gets brought onto the ship, and you find out it's got a alien inside of it. Chest bursts, and it's got the mandibles of the Predator, but it's also an alien, so it's a Pred alien.
Yep.
Will we see it in Alien versus Predator Requiem, whatever the fuck that movie's called? Stay tuned next week when we talk about Alien versus Predator Requiem.
No.
Where are the hot pockets at? Apparently, from now on, xenomorphs will be associated with hot pockets. Just letting you guys know. In my brain, my mind canon.
God. We forgot to talk about the budget of this movie and when it came out. I fucked up the whole beginning of this episode. So this movie was released on August 13th, 2004, about a month before my 13th birthday. And it ran at an hour 40 minutes, which is good. Good time.
Yep.
I can appreciate that. And with a budget of between $60 to $70 million, and it made $177.4 million. So not too bad.
I actually felt the budget was probably less. I don't know where it went. Like, no offense. Like, I'm sure it was all in the practicals and stuff, and maybe they roped advertising into that budget they displayed there. I didn't know who any of these actors were outside of Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah, I knew who Colin Salmon was. I knew Tommy Flanagan. I knew Tommy Flanagan from Braveheart. Even at the time that this movie came out, I knew him from Braveheart.
Well, you'd think that, like, with that kind of budget, like, where did it all go? Like, was
the visual effects?
It had to have been
the effects, definitely, 100%. Because this movie mostly is effects. It's either practical or it's digital. Like it, and that'll run your bill up real quick.
It just felt like they should at least had one really big marquee name attached to it.
Speaking of that, they were supposed to, there was the possibility of having Schwarzenegger join this movie, coming back as Dutch, but it was only based on the fact that if he lost the governor's race, he would have been on this movie, but he ended up winning, so he wasn't able to be in the movie.
It would never have worked. Nobody was thick and bro enough for him to do.
Why the fuck would he be there to begin with? And he'd be like, damn, these guys are ripped now. Like, why are they so big? He's bigger than me.
They would have chalked it up to Wayland. That's all it would have done.
Oh, also, this was the first time that a Predator was on screen that wasn't played by the original Predator actor from Predator and Predator 2.
That's a damn shame. I like the way the Predators look, dude. Like, they have that, like, they're so strong looking, but they're sleek. Like, I like that, and I hate the fact that they're fucking look like damn football mascots. I swear to God. Hop, 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 hop.
Oh, but yeah, that's Alien versus Predator.
Okay, here's my question for all you guys. Would you say this movie is better or worse than, like, how would you, like, I know we're not doing rankings, but how would you rate this compared to Alien Resurrection?
I actually like Alien Resurrection more than this.
I agree.
To be honest, I think it's just the way, like, for me, and I know we've already gone over the first three, but it's Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and now I would have to put Alien versus Predator at number 5.
It's literally going in order.
And I feel like it's just going to continue to do that. There might be one movie left of this franchise that I might put higher than something else, because I personally enjoy the movie.
Okay.
But I won't talk about it anymore than that.
That's fair. Anything after this, it's been a minute. Like, I've not seen Covenant, and I've not seen Requiem in a long ass time.
I remember seeing Covenant when it first came out digitally. I rented it because I didn't go see it in theaters, and I was like, okay, we did something here. We tried something new. Ridley Scott was going ham on that. And Prometheus I saw in theaters. That was actually the last Alien movie. I think the only Alien movie I've ever seen in theaters, and a lot of people don't even consider it an Alien movie. So
fair. That's fair. Yeah. They should have brought Jonesy back. Or no, it wouldn't have been. It would have been Jonesy's ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. But yeah. Next week we're going to be talking about the 2007 sequel to this, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Words are hard. Which you think that the cast in this movie is people you don't know? That I think that entire movie is a cast of unknowns. Just, who are you? Why are you here?
It's a Sci-Fi Channel movie. It's fine. It's fine. So that or Hallmark. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I haven't seen it in a very long time, and I just remember, even from personally watching it, and then from just everyone's complaint about this movie was, I can't see anything.
Hopefully the Blu-ray fixes that.
Well, I'm going to be probably renting it, so we'll see how it looks on there.
I'll let you know if our Blu-ray works. That one may be coded different. I don't know.
Hey.
Oh, fuck.
I haven't even... Oh, so the original Predator actor was Kevin Peter Hall. I'm terrible with names. The Predators in this movie was played by Ian White. So he's the first actor to play a Predator since Kevin Peter Hall, because he died in 91, right after Predator 2.
Oof.
This is actually technically only the third Predator movie of the franchise.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we had 4 Alien movies before we had Alien versus Predator. You only had 2 Predator.
That's because Predator wasn't making money. Predator 2 didn't do very well.
I need to see that. I need to see it so fucking bad.
It's been a long time, but I just remember having a lot of fun because I love Danny Glover.
We just watched a movie with Danny Glover.
Is it Lethal Weapon?
No, Shooter.
Oh, right, with Marky Mark.
Yeah.
And the I Can't Read bunch.
Literacy.
That joke will never end. I don't care.
No, I want it on a
Till he
shirt.
confronts me. And then I'll be scared for a minute. And then once he leaves, I'll just keep making fun.
I'm gonna go. Listen, if we ever whenever we go back and visit back home, they have Wahlburgers back where I'm from. I'm just gonna wear a shirt that says "Marky Mark can't read" into Wahlburgers. It's like obviously he's not gonna be there, but I think it's gonna be funny.
So Predator 2 currently is on HBO Max.
Hey, there you go.
Just an FYI.
We own it. We got them all on Blu-ray.
Let me see where Alien versus Predator Requiem can be watched.
Sci-Fi Channel.
With a whopping 4.6 on IMDb. It's on Tubi right now.
Oh
all
shit!
Right.
That's
right.
Oh my god!
I'm watching it on Tubi. Fuck yeah!
Tubi is fucking Daily Motion. Shit!
Hell yeah! Give me those ads, baby. An hour and a half movie that'll be 2 hours.
Yep.
Oh Lord!
It's like anything you watch on fucking basic cable. It's a movie.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode. This was I don't feel too confident about this episode in my abilities, but I hope you all had fun with my plot breakdown, and I hope you guys enjoyed just the absolute chaos that is Alien versus Predator. Next week, we've already stated what we're covering. Make sure to check out our latest review of the latest episode of The Last of Us. I don't know what episode that it would be because we're recording a lot of these episodes ahead of time. So I don't know what episode it would be at this moment, but make sure to check it out. I probably had a really cool guest talking about one of the best shows on TV right now.
He's just talking to himself. He splices himself into 2 different pictures. Oh my god, it'd be fucking amazing.
It'd be so great. One of these days, I'm going to make a video like that.
Please.
It's going to be an entire interview. Well, not interview. It's going to be an entire review of just me talking to myself with 2 different opinions on the movie that we're talking about. Where I'm going to argue with myself, like, you're wrong. You're an idiot. This movie sucks.
No, it's great. Childhood.
Oh man, but I can't believe we're already 5 movies into this franchise. Like, it's insane that we've already made it this far, and we've been sprinkling in some other movies which is fun. Last week we did Spawn with Justin from Epic Film Guys. So we're sprinkling all these fun other extra movies into these long ass franchises, which is, it's nice to break it apart and do things like that. But, I'm tired, and I'm sorry that I'm rambling too much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for all the support. Make sure to comment, and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Make sure to leave us a review, 5 stars, and leave us a review on whatever podcast service you listen to us on that you can do that with. And make sure to follow us on all the socials at Dissect That Film.
Yes, do that.
I don't need to tell you where you can find us because you're already listening to us or watching us. So
that's true.
You've already located us. And all the links for Dan and Angela, all their personal socials and their Twitch channel are all down in the description. And we have a merch store. We got some merch. If you want to buy a cool shirt we're going to be adding some more designs to the merch store soon. So make sure to pick up one of our original designs over there at TeePublic. That link is always in the description. And yeah, if you want to reach us for anything, if you have any suggestions on future franchises you want us to cover or movies you want us to cover, or hey, you should ask this person to be a guest on your show, just email us at dissectthatfilm@gmail.com. Or if you just want to say hi, that's cool too. All right, everybody. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been the Dissect That Film Podcast, episode 94. See y'all again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.